Welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're diving into something that is just profoundly transformative. Seriously, if you can give me your complete, undivided attention for just a few minutes, I promise, we're going to unlock that rusted padlock on your mind. You know the one you've probably kept firmly shut for years. We're exploring the timeless wisdom of Napoleon Hill and uncovering the raw, unfiltered power of consistency. So let's dive right into this. I want you to take a second and mentally look in the mirror. When you look, do you see a winner staring back? Or do you see someone who's kind of buried their grandest dreams under that heavy, comforting blanket of, oh, I'll just start tomorrow? It's a painful reality, right? And it's driven by this one agonizing question that constantly tears at us. I start, but why do I stop? It's a heavy question, but listen, you are absolutely not alone in asking it. Get this. An overwhelming 97% of people spend their entire lives trapped in this vicious cycle. Their mornings kick off with super high hopes. Their afternoons are completely eaten up by making excuses. And their nights, well, they end wrapped in a thick sheet of regret. All that amazing potential just buried under those three words. I'll start tomorrow. But in this explainer, we're focusing entirely on that tiny, incredibly rare 3% slice of the pie. These are the folks who stand completely calm when life storms hit. And no, they don't have a magic lamp, they don't have a secret spell. What they have is an ironclad rule. Section 1. Motivation is a trap. The dopamine illusion. Okay, before we get into what that 3% actually do right, we really need to shatter a massive illusion. The problem you're facing? It isn't a lack of talent. Not at all. The problem is that society has completely addicted us to the cheap thrill of hollow motivation. Think about it. When you watch a hype video, your brain gets this massive dopamine hit. You literally feel like you're going to conquer the world overnight. But by day 3, that high completely wears off. Your body aches, your mind is begging for an excuse, and poof, the motivation vanishes. Think of a student who maps out this grand study schedule 2 months before an exam. The first 2 days, they crush it. 10 hours straight. But by day 3, they feel like they've done enough. Day 4 brings a tiny distraction, and by day 5, they're right back to being completely average. See, the 97% mistake that temporary rush for true discipline. But the 3% winners, they rely on a system. Honestly, it's often super boring, and it takes relentless discipline. Successful people just have this incredible capacity to embrace the boredom and do the work, even when they absolutely don't feel like it. Section 2. The 7 Great Principles, Napoleon Hill's Rules. So how do we actually build that kind of relentless system? Well, we turn to the foundational legacy of Napoleon Hill. His teachings on this exact subject have been distilled down into 7 actionable rules that will quite literally build the temple of your life. Let's walk through these real quick. First up, a definite purpose. Look, saying I want to be rich is totally hollow. Saying I want to earn 1 lakh in the next 12 months from my business, now that is a definite purpose. Second is organized planning. You've got to break that massive goal into organized daily chunks, like committing to writing 200 words a day if you want to be an author. Third is persistence, which we'll dig into in a sec. Fourth, your mastermind group. You have to surround yourself with people who pull you higher. Fifth, leverage your subconscious mind by feeding it your goals every single day. Sixth is quick decisions. Successful people decide quickly and they change their minds very slowly. And finally, seventh, action. Overthinking is just paralysis. Taking action instantly kills half your fear. Let's look a little closer at that third principle, persistence. Napoleon Hill firmly believed that persistence is, to a person's character, what carbon is to iron. Without it, you're just a weak metal that's going to snap under the everyday pressures of life. This means that failure should absolutely never be seen as some final defeat. Actually, scratch that. You have to actively view failure as a strict, uncompromising teacher that is getting you ready for the very next level of your journey.
Section 3. The Secret of One Stone, Consistent Daily Effort.
To really anchor these abstract ideas into something you'll never forget, let's look at a powerful little story. So legend has it there was once this simple village artisan who declared he was going to build a magnificent temple on the highest, most treacherous peak of a mountain. Naturally, the villagers laughed. They told him he had no money, no tools, and that he was completely out of his mind. But the artisan just ignored them and set one simple rule for himself. Every single morning, before the sun even peeked over the horizon, he would carry one medium-sized stone up that hill. That's it. Day 1, there was just one lonely stone. After a month, there were 30 stones. The villagers called it pure foolishness. After a whole year, it was just this large, kind of shapeless pile of rocks, and people told him he was throwing his life away. But 5 years later, the villagers woke up, looked up the mountain, and saw the morning sun gleaming off a grand golden temple right at the peak. When those completely shocked villagers ran up the mountain and demanded to know how he pulled off this incredible magic, he just held up his calloused, bleeding hands. The crucial point here is exactly what the artisan told them, captured perfectly in his own words. This is not magic, this is math. Just 1 stone a day. Grand achievements are literally never the result of one single explosive day of effort. They are the result of thousands of invisible, consistent strikes that no one else ever sees. Section 4. In every area of life, a universal human law. And this principle of the daily stone, it goes way beyond just making money. It is a universal law of human excellence. The compound interest of consistency touches literally every single area of your life. Think about wealth. If you just get 1% better daily, the math of compound interest makes you a staggering 37 times better by the end of the year. In health, a simple 10-minute daily walk isn't going to transform your body by tomorrow, but over 10 years, that buys you youth in your old age. In relationships, it's those daily small acts of affection, not just a one-time grand gesture. And in self-growth, reading just 10 lines a day means you effortlessly absorb a full book's worth of knowledge in a year. It's crazy how it adds up.
Section 5. 90-Day Transformation Plan. Build your system. Okay, knowing all of this is great, but it is time to turn empty talk into fierce action. You need to become the commander of your soul, not just a slave to your mind's endless excuses. So, here's a concrete 90-day transformation challenge designed to actually build your system. Phase 1 is days 1 through 30. This is purely about building the habit. Your only goal? Just show up for 5 minutes. I don't care if a hurricane hits outside, those 5 minutes are sacred. It's not about the result right now, it is entirely about presence. Phase 2 covers days 31 to 60. This is the identity shift. You start telling yourself, I am someone who works out daily, or I am someone who reads. You aren't just doing the action anymore, you are becoming it. Finally, Phase 3, days 61 to 90, this is momentum. This is where the real magic happens. You don't even have to push yourself anymore. You basically become a freight train barreling down the tracks at 100 miles per hour. Absolutely unstoppable.
Section 6. Your final choice. The path of the 3%.
And this brings us, my fellow learners, to a critical crossroads. You are standing right where the path splits. On one side, you've got the heavily trafficked path of the 97%. It's filled with comfort, endless excuses, and eventually profound regret. On the other side is the path of the 3%. Yeah, it starts out lonely. It requires a lot of sweat, and it demands some serious resilience. But you have to remember that time is conspiring against you. Every single day you delay, a little piece of your potential slips away. Dying with the thought of, man, I wish I kept trying, is a pain far worse than any physical injury you could ever sustain. To put it in perspective, the weight of discipline is measured in mere grams, but the weight of regret, that's measured in tons, and it will crush you. So, I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought to chew on. Are you ready to finally slap away your mind's lazy whispers? If you've decided to step up and join that 3% club, I'm challenging you to make your first public promise right here, right now. Will you write today's date in the comments and type, I am ready to lay your first stone? Make that commitment today and start building your temple. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.